Hi everyone, Erica here with Fibersandfloss Canada. I had started filming and I decided to completely restart filming because I didn't have all my lights on. So now I have my lights on. Hopefully you can see things a lot better. And today I'll be covering a few things with you. I have my book of days. I have some cross stitch, no new starts, but I have some whips. I have a finish. We have a stitch along that's coming up on Saturday. I have some plans and some haul. And then for knitting, I do have a finish as well as a new start. And I don't have a lot of time today, so hopefully this will be a short and sweet one. For book of days for January, I was able to complete the month. It looks like there's a lot of writing on here, but really it's the list of my whips on the one side, and then anything that I have stitched on, I have marked there on the dates that I stitched. And sometimes I usually stitch the hours. Other times I did start writing down the stitch counts, but I don't use any like software programs for recording where I'm at on my program or my stitches. So I literally am counting my stitches as I'm stitching, and then I found that's not very enjoyable. So back to hours I go. And then this is February. So I largely decided to decorate largely with dragons because Samantha the Huka Stitcher and I have a stitch along coming up, hashtag Year of the Dragon, and I thought it would be appropriate to decorate with dragons and jewels. And you know, I wish I had something that was a bit more sort of lunar New Year orientated, but I just went with the stickers that I had at home. So that's what I have for February. Let's dive into the cross stitch. I do have a completion. I was stitching Treasure Island by Owl Forest Embroidery. I'll put a pattern of it up here. This is our third stitch along that I have participated in, more along the lines of their classic fairy tales. So there is Wizard of Oz, Alice in Wonderland, and now I've done Treasure Island as well. On my last video it was almost done, but at the very bottom there's a treasure chest, and I was wanting some feedback whether or not I should stitch that in the called for variegated floss from Owl Forest Embroidery, or if I should dress it up a little bit and use some cry neck and beads and that sort of thing. And most people said to go ahead and dress that up. So that's what I've done. This is the completed picture, project stitch, whatever you like to call it. And then I'll just zoom right in here so that you can see at the bottom. We put lots of jewels. There's some pearls. I don't know if you can really see any of the shine, but there is a bag full of coin. In person it looks really nice. I'll insert some photos as well for you guys of the stitch. Okay, I hope you enjoyed those photos. The next thing I wanted to do was I did make a project bag for myself for Owl Forest Embroidery Treasures Island. This is one that I did make extras and I sold at the time, and I gave one to my girlfriend Samantha as well. And now I'm done with it, so I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it. So I thought I'd do a giveaway. If anybody would like to use this bag next, they can, and I'll ship it anywhere in North America to you. The bag, and if you are stitching this stitch, I'm happy to send my leftover Owl Forest Embroidery floss to you as well. So this is the bag. It has a vinyl front. I think it was about a 9 by 14 bag. But what was neat about this is on the back side here, I do have a pocket where you can keep your pattern, and I have a big applique X on there as well for X marks the spot. So if anyone's interested in that, just let me know. You do have to like the video and be a subscriber, it's 18 or 19, whatever it may be. The code word for it, let's do treasure. And I will draw for that on my next Flosstube video. My next stitch that I worked on this month was Biscornu. There's 8 of them. This is a Modern Folk Embroidery pattern. I have decided to stitch, which one is it now? This one. they all look so similar when you start looking at them, but that one there. And then I'm not sure, actually I'm wondering if I might change it and do it a different one for the other side. So I'll insert a picture of where I was before and where I am now. I'm almost a quarter done the stitch. I'll zoom out and you guys can see here in person. I'm using a variegated floss, and off the top of my head, I cannot remember what that was, DMC 167 or something maybe. I'll put it in the description box there. But I am really enjoying this. This is stitched on a 40 count. I think it is a Wichelt, just a gray linen. I had bought it at Hobby Lobby. It's nothing crazy. Yeah, so I'm just debating whether or not I want to change or do the exact same pattern for the other side of the Biscornu. So some decisions I need to make on that there for sure. The next project I am stitching is Peacock Tapestry by Teresa Wentzler. I'll put a picture in here of the pattern. This was a new start for me for January, and I've never stitched a Wentzler before, so I did a video on all the research of, you know, tips and tricks for a Wentzler, how to kit it up, how to organize your flosses, different options for that, you know, whether or not you should change your fabric or stick with the recommended fabric. I'll put a picture here of where I was and where I am now. I think I'm making really good progress. While it doesn't look like a lot for, you know, a stitch, a regular cross stitch, it is a lot for a Teresa Wentzler because all the flosses are blended flosses. There are a ton of fractional stitches in there as well, so, and confetti stitching. So this is the overall piece will be a lot larger, of course. The border on the top, I've gone to the end of page 2. There's 3 pages across the top. And then the edge of the border here is the bottom of that page. So the first page is actually done with the exception of this border. And I am saving the border for a day where I feel rather, you know, exhausted of the confetti stitching. But at this time, I'm still really enjoying the confetti and the trees. So just see if I can, my cameras, if I can really zoom in that much. Maybe I'll put some more photos for you guys. But the actual trees and the pears, I wonder if I go on an angle. Not really. I'll put some photos. They're just beautiful in person. The color, the variegation is unbelievable. And I've also chosen to backstitch as I go with the trees, and that's something that was definitely recommended because otherwise you get lost in this sea of green. It's definitely very easy to get lost when you're doing confetti and every single stitch is green, a variant of green. So that's where I'm at with that one. Okay, so for my next cross stitch, it's actually an ornament. I had planned on doing an ornament and I still plan on doing an ornament every month for the year 2024. I did start off with the Dimensions Sweet Christmas ornaments. I'll be kind of quick because you guys have seen this before. And right now I'm working at the one in the middle there. And this is so very close to a finish. I'm just doing a little bit of back stitching. This is where I'm at now. And then once it's back stitched, and I have maybe half an hour left on that. And then what I'm going to end up doing is doing the Vanna Pfeiffer's method of, I think she puts 3 layers of board in between with the decorative paper on the back and then some cording around the edge. So that'll be a new finishing method for me, but I'm going to give it a go, and I'll be doing that this week. So on the next Flosstube, you guys will be able to see a finish there, which is exciting. And that whole kit is from Dimensions. I just ordered it from 123 Stitch. My last cross stitch I've worked on this month, I felt a little guilty that I haven't been working on this one because it's, 1, it's huge, 2, I really enjoy it, and 3, it's special to me because of our heritage. So this one is Dutch Beauty, and I haven't worked on Dutch Beauty, sorry, there's a lot of glare, for quite some time. I think I put in a fair bit of work in Sampler September, and then I think it's been tucked away since. So I'll put a little picture here of where I was and where I'm at today. I only pulled this one out last night actually, so it only has 1 night worth of stitching on it. You can see I did the vase, an angel, and some initials in the start of a flower and a further vase down. So here is basically the top row of the first half of the pattern, right at the very center here. This is the middle of the pattern, and then from the center, some of it is mirrored on the right and the left, and some will be different. So yeah, it's definitely something I'm enjoying. I am stitching it on 40 count Newcastle linen using the called for colors. They're all DMC floss, using one strand obviously there. So I am enjoying it. Before I put it away, I think I'll definitely finish this urn, which is a mirror image of, I can barely reach around this board, my goodness, of this one here. And then that will actually complete pages A, B, C, and D. And then there'll be 3 more pages to go across the top there. So I'd like to try and log some more time on that, but I don't know how much time I will have to log on that because we have a new stitch along coming up. And I know you guys have heard me talk a lot about this. Samantha, the Huga Stitcher, and I are starting hashtag Year of the Dragonsal, and that actually starts this Saturday. We're going to be making a video putting our stitches, our first stitches in together, so be on the lookout for that. If you guys want to join the stitch along, you can at any point in the year. It will go for the full year, the lunar year, so go right to February of 2025. During that time, we'll have some surprises for you guys, and it's a pretty open stitch along, so there's no particular pattern. You can choose any pattern you like with a dragon in it. It can be something you've already started. It can be an old retired project you've tucked away. Any designer at any time in the year, you guys can hop on, use that hashtag Year of the Dragonsal. And if you're thinking of joining but not sure what you'd like to stitch, there's so many different options out there. And if you go to the hashtag, you'll be able to see what some people have already selected for their projects. I have chosen another Teresa Wentzler actually, and I've shown this before. This is the Celestial Dragon, but I am not stitching it on the called for white. I'll be stitching it on this really bright red, Christmas Red Jobelan linen here. And I did a quick little YouTube short showing all of the flosses. I chose to bobbinate the floss this time. Last time I did do floss drops, and it's starting to get a bit messy for my liking, so I thought I'd try a different route this time, and there's a lot less floss on this one. So yeah, I'll definitely we'll link up some of the videos when they're available for you guys, so you can put your first stitches in with us. Make sure you use hashtag Year of the Dragonsal, and they'll be really fun to stitch together. The last little bit for cross stitch I have is some haul. I did order a couple things just to get some stuff going, but I did have one purchase that was not really needed. My husband is home, so I'd be quiet. This one is Jane Hopkins, 1875. And you know, Samantha, my girlfriend, has this pattern as well, and it's just so beautiful. I absolutely love it. I love the just the, oh, I don't know if I can get that to focus there. Just the detail, the full coverage in the middle is beautiful. I'm a huge fan of bright colors, so it's definitely something I can't wait to dive into. And I'm contemplating doing a higher count. I mean, I'd like to also do a lower count because I could just stitch it in hand and have a lot of fun with it. But I think with the picture, wouldn't it look great on a 56? Is that crazy? That might be really crazy, right? But the finished product would be 7 by 10 inches, smaller than a sheet of paper. And I think that would be so beautiful. So I don't know. You'll have to stay tuned for that one because I'm really excited about it. I do want to definitely do the silk conversion instead of the DMC. And I'm really tempted to do a 56. You see, I do stitch on a 40. It's slower. It makes me really love flying through a 32 count. But something about the old samplers, you know, the smaller, the more precious they seem to be. So anyways, I have that pattern. The next thing I got was some of the materials for Inspired by Nature. And this was a quaint rose needlework Needle Arts pattern. So this is one I had ordered previously, and it's the one in the background here. And what's super special about this pattern is that the butterfly and then this, what do you call those stick bug things? They're actually stitched on different fabric. And of course she has taken one fabric and another and stitched them together. And so this cross stitch, the reason why I chose it is because it does offer a couple different things that I've never done before. So I thought I would give it a go. The problem is that they're both fox and rabbit colors for the fabric, and of course we know fox and rabbit is so hard to get sometimes, and it calls for Duxbury, which is arguably one of probably the most difficult to get of theirs, and then seaweed, which has also been challenging because they did change their recipe, and so some of the colors now are slightly different than what it used to be. I was watching one of their videos and they talked a lot about how there's so many different factors as well. Or no, that was that's not right. It was Roxy Floss Co. was talking about all the different factors that can affect your dyeing, and right from the environmental factors to, you know, humidity and the heat of the room to the color lots that you're getting from the manufacturer in terms of the colors and stuff. So anyways, long story short, I have Duxbury, which I had ordered previously, and I couldn't find 40 count Duxbury because that's all I could find. It calls for 36, but I went with 40. And then a viewer said, oh, Kitten Stitcher got her the seaweed back in stock. Look at the color. It's so beautiful. So they're both 40 count, which may make sewing the two of them together really tedious, but I think it'll be super fun. And if I'm doing that, maybe the Jane Hopkins should be a larger count so I don't get too discouraged at all the small stuff. And then I also went ahead and bought the threads for that so that I could get that going. So those ones are all really gentle art, and there's a couple classic color works in there, but some of the colors are just super beautiful. And then I did previously order the Teresa Kat Biscornu as well. Just maybe take this out of the packaging. And it's mainly DMC that it calls for, but there's just a couple 1 weeks and a couple classic color works that I had ordered to go along with that. And I won't start that until my first Biscornu is finished. We'll see how sewing that together goes. And then I got a little bit of Happy Mail as well. So from Luca S overseas, they did send this pattern with a peony, and I absolutely love peonies. And my thought was, it's on black Ada. Ada? It is Ada. Oh, I don't know. My very first cross stitch I think was Ada, but I haven't really stitched on Ada since. My thought was it would go really nice in the front of her project bag. Like a quilted project bag with some of the pinks and stuff like that. So that's a fun stitch. I'm not sure when I'm going to start it, but it's definitely a fun kit, and I think it'd be really cool to dive into it. Just how they have all their floss cards and stuff arranged. And then they also tossed in some of their threads as well, some floss, and which I can put in my stash. And you know, my daughter also makes friendship bracelets, and so sometimes that stash does get utilized for stuff like that. So maybe she'll end up using some of that, I'm not sure. So that's it for the cross stitch. I've got just 2 quick things to share with knitting. So if all you came for was the cross stitch today, thank you so much for coming. I do want to thank everybody as well for all their time that they take to comment below, and you know, everyone's input on Treasure Island, whether or not that needed to be have some bling on it, and just everyone's feedback is always really encouraging and enabling. So hold on 1 second and I'll grab my knitting. So for knitting, I have the same plan with the ornaments as I do with knitting socks. This year for 2024, I want to knit a pair of socks every month in the year, and so far I've done that. Well, it's only the first month, so wish me luck. The sock pattern I chose was the Trusty Toe Up Sock by Tennis Fiber Arts. It was really easy to follow. It did have an afterthought heel. It's the first time I've done an afterthought heel, and it was surprisingly so simple. I'm used to doing the German short rows, and the afterthought heel was ridiculously easy. And it's a really beautiful self-striping yarn that I've used here too. The yarn that I used, let me see if I can get the tag out. I've now since put it back into its own little round. Oh right, this is one I couldn't pronounce. Flottsock, I think. Perfect Tropical. And it was stitched on a US 1 or 2.25 needle. The feedback on this is that for me personally, I have quite a high arch and a wide foot, so I do need that gusset more than what an afterthought heel offers. So, which is a shame because I do really love the afterthought. It was really easy to do. I think what I'll do is look into it and see if there actually is a way to do a bit of an afterthought heel in combination with a gusset. And you should be able to do that, I would assume so. It would be simple enough, I think, unless I am totally out to lunch on that. And then my next stitch that I started here is called Morning Coffee Socks. And this is the pattern here. You can see at the top, it's got a bit of a honeycomb stitch to that. This is actually a set of 3, and so I'll put a picture here with the 3 of them. It is by Deb Buckingham, and she is on Ravelry, so I've just ordered them direct from her. The the yarn I'm using is from Tanis Fiber Arts. It is her pure wash sock set 6, it was called. So here is, I'm attached to my, hold on one second, attached to my ball of yarn. Okay, so this is what it's kind of, well, let me go this way. What it's looking, what it's looking like there. So I did a different color at the top. It's a bit of a mauve, and the same color will be at the toe. We have the heel here with the gusset stitches. And I've tried this on and it does fit much better. And then the honeycomb along the top. I did notice that, I usually do stitch this in the car while I'm waiting for the kids for pickup for school. And I did mess up part of the pattern, and I'm just leaving it. But you can see how the honeycomb kind of shifts from like one stitch over, and then there is one where I've got 2 in a row. Oh, see, you can't really even see it now. But here it is, this row. There's this row, and then there's one directly on top of each one. Hard to see with the purple, but it's there. Trust me, you can kind of see it better there. But I'm leaving it. I'm not gonna go back and redo it. It's not worth it to me. But it does fit very nicely, and I can't wait to do the other 2 socks. So I do have 3 colors of yarn that I'll blend well together, so I'm going to use those as interchangeable between the all the socks there. I think that's about all that I have for my Flosstube today. I really thank you guys all for joining and watching, and I definitely encourage you guys to tune in on Saturday. Samantha and I are going to do our best to kind of put the 2 of us from different provinces together in one video, so to kick off our stitch along. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it goes well and we're able to upload something that you guys can enjoy. Thanks so much for joining, and if you want to enter the giveaway, just make sure the word you use is treasure, and I will draw for that on my next Flosstube in a couple weeks. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye guys.